This meeting is being recorded.
I'll start recording this and I'll put it on Google Drive at the end of the session. If everybody can put themselves on mute and then just use the raise hand function, just when you've got a question, I'll come to you. But welcome, Heinrich. It's lovely to meet you virtually.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys, having me.
And away we go. So start with Ian Callender, Belfast Telegraph.
Yeah, good morning, Heinrich. Welcome on board.
Thanks.
Did you have to think long and hard about applying for the post? You're first in with a full member.
Yeah, look, I think if you reflect back on the last 12 years of working in first-class cricket, hopefully you go to work every day trying to put yourself in positions to once these opportunities do come up to have a crack at it. And yeah, when the opportunity obviously came up, had to have a bit of a conversation with the missus around potentially moving across the world if successful. But yeah, it's an exciting opportunity and something that we as a family are really excited about.
Although virtually all your coaching has been in New Zealand, hasn't it? 9 years there, I think.
Yeah, I did 3 years in South Africa coaching Easterns, which is a semi-professional side, part of the Titans. So in that period, it was still deemed as first-class cricket. So that was from 2010 till 2012, before taking up the job with the Stags out in Napier.
Okay. Do you know any of the Irish squad? Have you met any of them?
I've spoken to quite a few of the players, obviously, since being appointed. But I guess it was always an interesting part of the journey. I knew Ben Smith quite well. Ben Smith came out and worked with me as an assistant coach out at Central Districts, and he obviously played for Central Districts too. So he was obviously batting coach previously. So I didn't really talk to him about when I applied, but I've obviously heard a lot of Island cricket or a lot around Irish cricket through my connection with him, and subsequently obviously had a fair few conversations with a lot of the coaches, the coaching staff, even some of the staff that's now heading over to the Wolves trip, and then some of our more senior players.
Do you know Graham Ford? Did you talk to him?
Yeah, I've spoken to Fordy a couple of times, and I guess a big part of that is just getting to understand his understanding of the lay of the land, and just through that trying to build my own understanding. And I guess that's a key piece for me over the next little period is really trying to get a feel and my feet under the table, and really trying to spend some time working on the ground with the players and the support staff, and hopefully in time, once we get there, sort of mid-April.
We're losing connection. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I think we just lost connection.
Yeah.
Back. Heinrich, can you hear us? All right.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yep.
Okay, a couple more for me. Just the Wolves tour, obviously a perfect chance for you to find out the depth of the squad.
Yeah, 100%. Really excited about jumping on a plane tomorrow and joining up with the boys tomorrow afternoon. And like I've mentioned, I guess it gives me a real clear understanding of what we have outside of the current Irish squad. Obviously been following the last 2 months pretty closely with regards to how we've played and who's done what. But this is one of the key areas we've spoken about, is trying to build a squad that can compete over periods of time, understanding that a team plays, but really trying to build that squad aspect. And no better time to get into that next squad and in a away trip to Namibia, and subsequently too. There's Pete Johnson's on there, Ryan Eggleson's on there, so and a lot of the other support staff from the main side. So a really good opportunity to build some connection and start putting together some of our thoughts.
Mark Stilling, BBC.
Hi, Henrik. How's it going? Congrats again on the appointment. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Easy.
If I could just say to you, you'd said when the appointment was announced back at the start of January, that sort of the Irish cricket wheel was sort of turning nicely, but it was a good chance for a review. Have you had a chance to sort of carry out much of that review yet? And can you give us an idea of where you think Ireland cricket is?
Yeah, look, I haven't personally read the review yet. I guess, it's an understanding that the board is actioning some of those pieces at the moment, and they'll come out with their recommendations in time. And look, I guess, following on your point from the wheel is turning, I guess the main piece is trying to make sure we're trying to become a little bit more consistent across formats. We haven't played any red ball cricket, obviously, for 2 years. We haven't played any first-class cricket in that space for 2 years. So that'll be an interesting piece for us, making sure we try and put some plans in place to prepare adequately for hopefully playing some test cricket pretty soon. And on the back of that, from a white ball point of view, the boys did really, really well qualifying now to go back to Australia and not necessarily write the past, but make sure we play what's in front of us and really be excited about that space and then keep building on the way we've played our one-day cricket. The series against West Indies is obviously a great piece for us to see that we can compete and that hopefully we've got some understanding of the way we want to play now, and then our players are starting to believe in that, and that's really an exciting opportunity for me.
You maybe sort of touched on this a little bit with Ian there, Heinrich, but can you give us an idea of sort of the key things that attracted you to the job?
Yeah, I guess the key thing for me, looking at it is, I had a bit of international cricket, but just at the start of hopefully, what's going to be a long and successful time for Irish cricket, and I guess, like I've said, hopefully what I've done at domestic cricket over a 10-year period, identifying players, developing players, and getting them to perform at the highest level is what I can bring to this role. And been fortunate to work with some great players, been fortunate to be successful across a period of time, and trying to marry those two up. I guess for me that's the sort of way that I look at it, and hopefully what I can bring to the party in that space can keep moving us towards where we want to be and compete across formats for periods of time.
And can I just ask you, Heinrich, a couple of weeks ago, obviously the central contracts were announced, and there was obviously a lot of chat around Kevin O'Brien not getting a central contract. Can I just check? Have you chatted with Kevin at all? And is he still in your plans? He's still got a chance to get back in?
Yeah, look, we've exchanged a couple of messages, and I guess the message that I said to him was, look, things are where they are at the moment. I haven't been on the ground. We haven't been able to meet face to face, and that's one of the key things that I'm pretty keen to do. And I guess even Andrew White came out, when all of this the contracting stuff was made public, and saying that no player is ever out of contention. If you perform, if you put the currency forward, then there's always going to be an opportunity, and people will look at those aspects. And I guess at this stage, really keen to catch up with Kev. Hopefully middle of April, and by then we're going to be straight into some domestic cricket too, which is going to allow him a perfect opportunity to put some currency forward.
Yeah, I suppose a player of that sort of quality and ability, you don't want to say never, you never say never sort of thing.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess and I know, those are the conversations that Andrew White have had with him. And like you say, we all know that he's a quality player. And at the moment, it's not necessarily going his way, but that's the sort of squad that we want to build over time, where there's some healthy competition for places. And if people can go away that don't get selected, and go and perform and make sure that they keep putting some healthy competition forward, then over a period of time that'll definitely put us in good stead.
Yeah. And just lastly from me, Heinrich, if I can maybe just ask you to do a bit of forward gazing, if we can. Obviously under sort of Graham Ford, there was a couple of memorable one-day wins over England, South Africa, the sort of test debut in 2018. If we can maybe sort of flick forward to a few years down into your reign, I mean, if you're looking back on what highlights you would like to deliver, do you have any sort of big targets in mind?
Well, I guess if you think about my philosophy, it's more about the process piece than the really outcome part of it. Totally understand that we live in an environment, in a high performance environment, where it's all about results. But look, I get up in the morning wanting to improve my players, and if I can do that over periods of time, then hopefully that wonderful thing called winning takes care of itself. But like 100%, we've got a great opportunity with the upcoming schedule that's just been released for the summer, where we've got the most amount of cricket that's ever been played in Ireland. So great opportunity against some full member nations there that's shown that they can compete at the highest level for long periods of time. And we've shown over periods now too that we can compete and upset them. So, it's trying to get our feet under the table in this first couple of weeks, and then trying to make sure we hit the ground running come the end of June for those 2 games against India, which is an exciting prospect.
John Kenny, RTE.
Heinrich, good to talk to you. Tell us about your backroom staff. Are you going to leave as is, or are you bringing your own people in? How you doing? Are you bringing your own backroom staff in, or are you leaving it as is for the present?
Yeah, look, we've
Breaking up there, Heinrich.
Yeah, it's frozen.
We've obviously made that announcement a week or so ago that Gary Wilson and Ryan Eagleson will be in those roles as batting and fielding coaches and assistant coaches.
Sorry, Heinrich, we had a bit of
Is it my side or?
Yeah, it's your end, Heinrich, I think.
I think so, yeah.
I've just popped down the video. Is that better?
We'll try again.
Right again. So basically, backroom staff. What's the plan?
Yeah, look, we've obviously made that announcement a week or so ago with Gary Wilson and Ryan Eagleson being assistant coaches and looking after the batting and the bowling side respectively. And we will, in time, we'll look at broadening that staff. But I guess, again, for me, it is really important to make sure that we have some people in and around the squad that knows our environment.
Oh, for God's sake.
Can guide and help me in that space to build those.
Yeah, I think we've lost you again there, Heinrich.
Can you go out and come in again, I think?
Yeah. We try restart. Are you there, Heinrich? Or? I think we lost him completely.
Yep.
I'll just send him a text message. Sorry about this. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
You're like a Dalek. But, yeah. I got your video back. There you go. You're back now. No, frozen. We'll just wait and see if he logs out. Okay. Oh, here we go again.
I've just logged on my phone. Hopefully it works better this way.
Perfect. We can see you now.
Yeah, can you turn it sideways, Heinrich? We need its profile rather than landscape, if you don't mind.
All good.
That's better. And yeah, just center yourself.
Trying to figure out how I can make this a little bit higher for you. Find a book or something. Does that work?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
That looks good. Thank you very much for that. So, John, do you ask a
Cool.
question again?
Okay, Heinrich, right. Question 3, first question. The backroom staff. Backroom staff.
Yeah, so we've obviously made that announcement a couple of weeks ago with Gary Wilson and Ryan Eagleson being appointed in assistant coach positions. And I guess a big part for me was ensuring that I have some connection through the staff with the current squad. And you know, that these are people in positions now that's been successful with our squad over the last 12 months. And you know, they play really important roles for me, and I've had quite a fair few conversations with those boys around ensuring, you know, I try and get as much info as I can before touching down. In time, I guess there's always the opportunity for us to keep looking at evolving that space too. And you know, we've had some discussion around that fourth coach role and what that could look like. But there'll be a process around that, and something that we'll look at, you know, once I'm on the ground.
Sure, but you don't want to work really in isolation. I mean, if you're working with a new crew, you need to have some kind of, I suppose, backup from your own point of view, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I guess it's also an opportunity for me to bring in a fresh set of eyes, you know, and again, you know, like I've mentioned previously, I think the wheel's turning nicely, and I think there's an opportunity for me to come in with my understanding of how things run, you know, but not necessarily having to stand in front of the room and changing everything at the same time, but gaining as much information as I can and getting a better understanding and a better feel for where we're at. And over time, you know, introduce potentially new avenues or building on some current foundations that we have in place.
Yeah, well, I presume you wouldn't have taken this job without some kind of guarantees. Obviously, there's no guarantees in sport, but what kind of guarantees have you got for the next couple of years? What kind of plans have been outlined to you about what the future of Irish men's cricket could be?
Look, like you said, I don't think there's any guarantees in any avenue of life. I think the exciting opportunity for me and one of the key aspects, you know, is understanding that, you know, we haven't played as much international cricket as we've definitely hoped to. You know, and there's obviously a big drive through the board, through the high performance personnel to try and see if we can increase that as much as we can over the next 12 to 18 months. And I guess, you know, like you say, it's there's no guarantees. It's the opportunity for me to come in and try and replicate what we've done over a period of time through the successful career that I've had, which I'm very fortunate about. And then hopefully we can, you know, keep building the Irish cricket in that same sort of space.
Are you moving to Ireland?
Yes, sir. In the second week of April, me and my family are all moving to Malahide, and we'll be based out in Jameson Orchard, which by all accounts is a nice little area with good schools. So looking to set the family up out there.
Yeah, this is good. So what's your expectations then? I mean, have you laid out an expectations for the squad, or have you got to that deep yet?
Yeah, look, I think the expectation around international cricket is, you know, that you got to try and win. I mean, that's the understanding of high performance sport that I grew up with, and that's, you know, the expectation that I know that fans around the world has, not just on the Irish side, but on all the teams, you know, that compete at the highest level. But again, like I've mentioned previously, I think it's about that process and the way we go on a daily basis around our business, and then, you know, build an environment and build a squad that can compete and you know, we know that it's not always an easy road with the lie of the land with COVID and the way bubble life operates and what goes with that. But I guess that's the challenge for us as staff to to keep putting those expectations forward to our players, build a squad, use the A program. This Wolves tour is obviously really important, but not just this one. Try and get as much Wolves cricket in as we can. Can we potentially use the Wolves program to start looking at how we build our test program? Like I've mentioned earlier, we haven't played any domestic 4-day cricket or 3-day cricket, or test cricket for a period of time. So it's trying to lay out those expectations and then trying to find some opportunities for us to keep working in that space moving forward.
Right, Heinrich, thanks for talking.
Nathan Johns, the Irish Times.
Hi, Heinrich. Good to chat to you. I'm just wondering if you could give us a bit of insight maybe into your coaching style. I mean, just based on what's gone before you, Graham Ford was kind of seen as like this facilitator who was really good at chatting to players one-on-one. Ripley said himself that he wanted to introduce more group chat and make things maybe more collaborative. So I was wondering if you could maybe give us a bit of insight, and then also kind of tying into that is your balance maybe between the more technical aspect of coaching compared to the other aspects, because I know maybe at international cricket it can be a little bit harder sometimes to get through the technical aspect of stuff.
Yeah, look, I guess for me it's about building self-sufficient players, and I guess to get to that point, all of the above things that you've mentioned are really prevalent. There's times when we have to be really technical, and there's times we have to be really tactical, and it's about picking your moments in that space. Once I get over to Dublin, we're going to be straight into the season, so probably not going to have too many technical discussions, but there'll definitely be some tactical discussions, and really fortunate again in the way that Rips has now set things up in terms of collaboratively working together, getting the collective IQ in the room to make some more contributions. Because ultimately, I'm from a philosophy point of view, I believe that players out there make decisions. Yes, we can influence, but I guess our influence is more so in the preparation piece than the actual playing piece. And I try and get players to get to a point where once it gets to game time, we support, but we really try and do our work from a coaching point of view, either in between games or to the build-up of our series. That's your one question. Sorry, what's your other question again?
Sorry, no, that was actually perfect. That answered kind of both of those. Just on that technical side of things, just mainly out of curiosity, I was told that you changed Blair Tickner's action and that turned him into an international cricketer. Is that accurate?
I'd like to say yes, but I guess players are the ones that show the skills out there. But look, I guess from a technical point of view, it's understanding what the player can be like, and look, there's no right or wrong way in assessing or figuring that out. It's building those relationships first to ultimately get to a place where we can have those challenging conversations around, do we intervene? Do we potentially evolve an action or break down an action to start again? And I guess first and foremost, it's building those relationships for me, and then over a period of time, whether it's tactically having those tougher conversations or whether it's technically, the player understands that we're trying to get him to be a better player so that our team benefits from it.
Okay, and then just based on your experience in New Zealand, there's this narrative that comes out of New Zealand that a couple of years ago they kind of had that domestic game reset and they made loads of very good pitches for domestic cricket, and slowly but surely that's kind of shown, and the national side has kind of reaped the benefit from that in terms of its player depth. That's obviously a story that would resonate quite a lot for Irish fans, given the conversation around pitches and facilities and stuff. So I was wondering if your experience working in New Zealand through that time has kind of equipped you with anything that can help you coming forward into this job.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to think so. I think there's a lot of similarities between where the Irish cricket space is in and where the Black Caps are in. But I guess it's a system. It's that work that's working together within the New Zealand environment. It's not just the pitches. And I think that's where we can have a real competitive advantage, where we can try and get everyone in the same room, 2 or 3 times a year, and actually discuss where we're at. What are we trying to do, and how does that impact tomorrow? How do we all work together, understanding we don't all have to agree, but understand where we want to go and find some common ground on that, and then really trying to work together to put Irish cricket as on the front foot as we potentially can.
Last one from me, just kind of a off the pitch one. I saw a video. I think it was a video or an interview, I can't remember. I think it might have been a leaving party for you or something like that, where Ajaz Patel said sometimes during games you can't watch and you got to just go off and get a coffee and calm yourself down. Are you a nervous watcher of games?
I think it's one of the beautiful things that when you've done this job for a period of time, you actually evolve too as a coach. And we ask players to evolve over a period of time as they get more experience. And I guess, I've been fortunate now to have done this for 12 years. And I guess that's one of the things that, I really pride myself on now is, it doesn't matter whether we win or lose. We always have the desire to win, but trying to make the most out of the review process. I think sometimes when we win, we take that for granted. And when we lose, we want to overhaul the whole ship. So I think it's one of the areas that I've really grown in and something that I'm, really looking forward to being tested at now at the highest level.
Thanks, Heinrich.
Bernard Whelan, Dublin City FM. Bernard? No, not there. Any last questions? Okay, thank you very much, Heinrich. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for fixing that connection issue. That's great. I'll stop recording now and I'll put it on Google Drive for the journalists in about half an hour's time. Okay, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.